All right. Well, first of all, I want to thank everybody that watched the Jameson Williams clip that I put on Reddit. It was pretty fun to see that. I don't know if JC Horn was actually scared, but I just know that Jameson Williams is absurd. A quick introduction. I'll keep this brief here. My name's Finn. I do a lot of various forms of content. Kind of gotten away from football over the years, but I used to be a kind of an X's and O's film breakdown guy for the Sideline Report, which working under Jeff Risden, good friends with guys like Eric Schlitz and all those guys over there at Pride of Detroit Sideline Report over the years. So that was around the Jim Bob Cooter era of our Lions. That was Marvin Jones, Golden Tate, Amir Abdullah, early Kerryon Johnson, Theo Riddick offense stuff. So that was fun. So let's talk about what I guess my aim is with this episode, and then and then obviously we've got a whole off season of stuff. Hopefully we make the playoffs. Hopefully there's more football to be played and break down. But if not, maybe we just kind of go through some of the different things. And we highlight some players and films. So obviously we got a big game here in Lambeau, Sunday Night Football against Green Bay. Big rival game. Even if we don't get the Seattle loss, that would mean a lot to us. It's still something to play for. Knocking Aaron Rodgers out of the playoffs, going 9-8. Nobody had us here at this point, so we're kind of playing. What is it? Playing on the house money type deal, borrowed time, if you will. So, what I thought I would do is I'd go back to that Week 9 game. Obviously, both of these teams are night and day different. Okay, so I didn't want to get too breakdown heavy, and I didn't want to try to do both sides of the football. But what I wanted to do is this was a low-scoring game. All right, this was a 15-9 game. The defense has made some great plays on both sides, forced turnovers. This was obviously the big Aiden Hutchinson interception and Kirby Joseph 2 interception game. And we could go break down, but simply put, this is not the same offense. I don't want to waste a whole lot of time looking into the Packers offense. They're running the ball well. Christian Watson is a completely different factor that wasn't a factor in this game. Watson's broken out. So I feel like it would be a little bit too much time to try to break those things down. And maybe I could have reviewed one of their more previous games. But what I said is hey, why don't I go back to this game and we look at where this team was and what worked in this game, because it's the only example we have of this Ben Johnson offense attacking the Packers. And then let's go into the Sunday night game, tonight's game, because I'll be releasing this the day of, in that realm, right? That what you're thinking is, hey, do we see the same, that first 15 plays, do we see similar things? So you're going to see things here. I got some highlighted plays here. We're not watching an hour of film, don't worry. I got it broken down. It's a little informal here, so I will be jumping, but I've got it all in order. I got the things I'm going to talk about here. I'll break that down, and then we'll hop right into the film. So don't worry, that not everything will have a 3-minute intro. I apologize, but yeah. Anyways, you're more than welcome to add your input in any comment section you find me at, be it Twitter, be it here, be it Twitch. I don't know. But the point is I'm not a football expert. I did X's and O stuff, but I quit because I felt like I was out of my depth a little bit when trying to get too in depth. This is just casual fun, seeing if you're a coach, a player, or you got some experience and you'd like to add in some input on a specific play, timestamp it, let me know. But I feel like I got a decent grasp of the game. And as always, I hate the pretentious film guys. At the end of the day, if you're not in the huddle, if you're not in the meeting rooms with these guys, we really don't know. Okay, so I might be like, oh, they're big braining on this concept, and they're like, actually, no, he ran the wrong route, but Jared found him, or this, that, or the third. So there's a lot that goes into football and success in football and preparation that I simply don't know. I'm just going to go off of the best that I can see. And this is the best that I saw in this game. So, obviously, the big guys to worry about on this defense. First and foremost, 23, Jaire Alexander, one of the premier shutdown corners in the league. He's here at the bottom of the screen in the yellow sleeves. If we're looking for Jaire, yellow sleeves is our guy. You got some other corners on the field that are talented. Eric Stotts, a young, talented corner. I believe we've got Gary, Rashawn Gary somewhere. We got plenty of talent. The young Quay Walker, rookie linebacker, we're going to talk a little bit about him. Darnell Savage, deep in what looks like an early cover 3 shell. So one thing that this team can run with their speedy, quick man corners is a lot of man coverage. They can get after the quarterback, and they run a lot of zone. mix it up. You don't really know what that's coming out of. But it looked like, and one of the things we're going to talk about is how the Lions found out, very early what that defense was, what that shell was, if obvious or not obvious. And then 2, how they attacked it. And then kind of 3, how the Packers responded in the second half. Because this wasn't this high-scoring game. While the Lions did have success moving the ball on offense, it wasn't consistent. The second thing we're going to talk about is something I've noticed quite a bit with the Packers, with the Lions offense. They do it about 3 to 4, maybe even 5+ times a game, which is tempo. Now, not tempo in the sense that we're a no-huddle offense, right? We're not Drew or Peyton running these quick no-huddle offense, get down there, call the plays on the fly. No. That's not what we are, but so much as a snap the ball, get to the line of scrimmage quickly, and snap the football. No reads, no ID to Mike. We know what we're doing, and it really does a lot of things like forcing a defense to adjust very quickly to weird alignments, right? If we put a running back in a certain spot on that formation, you'll see later Swift's out wide at wide receiver in a bunch, or maybe we have an eligible lineman, and so there's this extra lineman to account for, and they're like, and the more time that especially a young linebacker like Quay and these guys have to communicate or forced to communicate very quickly, the more mistakes to be made. And that's something that the Lions do. They take advantage in some areas, and sometimes maybe like a penalty negate it, but we'll go over a couple of those plays. But yeah, those were kind of the big things for me, is those 2 things. So let's talk. I said attacking man coverage, but the way that the Lions do that a lot is outside of this tempo, but it's pre-snap motion, and that's what we have on the first play here. So first play we're going to have, keep in mind, let's talk about a couple things really quickly. This is the first Lions game without TJ Hawkinson. Shane Zylstra had been activated for this game. We've got Brock right in here right next to Penny, and of course the rookie James Mitchell is going to make a couple snaps here. Swift in the backfield, single back. We're going to motion St. Brown across. One of the things the Lions like to do a lot is, let's just kind of get a look at the play, motion across and have him run vertical with an out. So here it's actually a stop. There was a couple plays against the Jets where they would go vertical, and you have 2 vertical routes or 1 vertical route like Kennedy's running, and then St. Brown motions across and runs an out. We had one against the Jets, one of the only times we targeted Sauce Gardner's side of the field. And then if you guys recall, we played the Panthers, and St. Brown early in that game, St. Brown motion across, he ran that out, they picked it up, and that led to the first deep ball to DJ Chark. So if you end up going back, you'll see that this is a concept we run a lot. So here what ends up happening is you get the Packers here in this 3 shell, right? Off coverage by the off coverage here by the DBs. I mean, it could be man, but everything indicates here that this is going to be cover 3. He's going to bail deep once he sees his man crossing. He's deep middle. They make a little switch off with the man coming across. For all intents and purposes, this could be man, it's 1 high, but the whole point is working and getting them terrified of this quick vertical release by Kennedy, St. Brown. The linebackers, their eyes are in zone, so he's watching Jared Goff's eyes down to this deep seam, and that's going to allow Swift to get open, and we get an early down where Swift gets the football in a lot of space. So some key things here. Again, when you've got this motion and you're bringing everybody's eyes, let's watch Jared out of the drop back here. Snap, he's got his eyes up the seam and then works left. That's going to hold Quay just a little bit, his eyes, and then that's going to allow just that extra sliver of space for DeAndre Swift. So good rep by him. So this next rep is and we kind of don't get to see it, but the quick snapping. So we come out of this play, we just got a big play, everybody's tired and running, and we're going to snap the football, and it's in. You know it's quick because we just get to the line of scrimmage, they're subbing somebody in, get to the line, Jared's not doing a lot of he's the mic, or change or kill. No, we're getting to the line of scrimmage, and we're snapping the football very quickly. It's a solid gain here in the red zone. It's a big part of the play, but you just get there, snap the football and go. You're requiring a sub has to come in late and this, that, or third, and we're going to see better examples, but this is just an example of getting to the line of scrimmage and snapping the football. The big benefit of this team is that we have enough offensive line talent to run zone concepts as well as man concepts. So in this situation here, we do a really good job of those things. So let's jump ahead a little bit. Let's go to let's see, just 17 minutes is my timestamp here. So that's a couple examples there. Okay, this is the play that I wanted to look at. This is a play that I had wanting to look at. Not the screen, so Raymond. All right. So he's just motioning down, and we're going to see the corner drop off, right? There's a first look here that we're going to get zone whenever these corners drop off. Yeah, you've got press here. So off the drop back here, we've got Jaire's hips are flipped. You know, his eyes are on the quarterback. And a good job here of Jared stepping up and finding that zone. I wanted to highlight this just because it's a good play. It's a big play. One of the things that Jared has really improved on this year has been some of that pocket presence. Last year, very jittery in the pocket, very struggled with pressure. But here with some good internal pressure, that pre-snap motion kind of gives Jared the read that he's going to have zone, so he knows what he wants to work to, keeps his eyes down the field. The one thing is being a little bit late and off time. Is going to bite this team in the butt a little bit later. So we will see that. Oop, jumped ahead too far. So don't want to spend too much time on that rep. We already got a lot going. Let me go to 14:58 here. I think we've got another example of quick snapping here after a violent Justin Jackson run. So here's a great example because you get to see it straight from the huddle. This quick snapping. All right, so let's look at it. We've got, looks like nickel package here. They're sitting here. Wait, actually, no, this looks like, yeah. You've got your, 2 edge rushers, single linebacker, an extra DB on the field. These guys are looking away. Yeah, this guy looking down this way. I mean, these guys are, they don't know where we're going to align, so we get to the line of scrimmage, and now everybody has to start communicating, and we've snapped the football. Now, granted, because there's only one linebacker and you have straight-up 5 down linemen, and, you have 3 inside at this kind of a bear look, and then, 2 stand-up edge rushers, not too much is needed, but, it just really gives us an opportunity to kind of set things straight, You come look here. They don't have time to ID, like the fact that 14 – like, look here at St. Brown and Kennedy here. Real tight end here, so this nickel doesn't get down in, and it kind of, you get a free chip by 14. Kennedy's going to get out to 2-9. Actually, he's going to get out to the slot because he's got pullers. And, Amon-Ra right here sets a nice little edge there. Swift gets the football on the toss. You've got Penny Sewell, super athletic. I mean, he's going to force him out. That's a lane. I think there ends up being a holding here on Evan Brown. But that's, again, the holding aside, what did we get? We snapped the football. They're trying to figure out their alignment. You've got a rookie here. Look, he doesn't communicate anything. The rookie here doesn't communicate anything. He's going to get washed up, out of the play. Boom, Mike's out of the play. The edges lost. And you've got a good gain. It was just a little bit of a holding call on an Evan Brown who isn't having the best year, but he's back, and he's played fairly decent since his return. So there's an example of that again. In a 15-7 game or 9 game, we're not talking about too much offense here, but I think this is actually going to be it just ends up being I don't know if it's a turnover on downs. My timestamp here is 24:36. So whatever it was there, Lions have got the football. So I don't know if this was like glitch in the matrix here, but Lions have got the football here. 24:36. I think we've got another motion play. Yep. So all right, I remember this rep. My apologies. I just got back from watching the Jags game with my brother, so I'm a little getting caught up. I got a bunch of notes here, but I just want to make sure I got the right notes. So again, so you've got some press coverage down here. What does pre-snap motion do? And what's a good example of a team using pre-snap motion? So a lot of guys know this already, but let's talk about it. Let's kind of erase the slate here. Alignment is a big thing. So let's say we go, I'm in the shotgun. I have a running back in back there with me. Let's say I send that running back out wide to the boundary. He's the most outside receiver. Let's go him on the outside, and maybe Kennedy's here. Let's imagine Swift or Jamal is out here on the top of the screen. If a cornerback follows Swift, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense in a man coverage scheme, right? To put a cornerback who is an elite, man coverage player against a running back who are notorious, unless you're Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey, or Saquon, I'll put him in that tier, you're not really going to get elite routes. So you're kind of wasting, you know what I'm saying? You really want to match up as close as you can your best guy on their best guy and then down the ladder, right? So you minimize your issues. If you're putting Jaire Alexander on DeAndre Swift, then that means who's going to guard in man coverage? I'm going to Ross St. Brown, right? Or Jamison Williams or somebody, or DJ Chark, right? You're really wasting. So what happens is when you see that corner out there, that is your read that you've got man coverage. Or zone, sorry, my apologies. I'm thinking I'm looking at man right here. Great, fucking informational, Finn. Just make sure words up. So corner out on top of a tight end or a running back, that's your indication that you've got zone coverage. That means they're just going to stay in their shell. They're going to guard their parts of the field regardless of who you put out there. But if following a running back out there is a linebacker or a safety, that's your indication that you've got man coverage, right? Another indication that you got man coverage is very simple. You motion a guy in man, and the guy covering him, this player here on the 40 line, is going to follow all the way across the field. When you've got that, you know you've got man coverage. So what if the Lions got schemed up in this man coverage, okay? First thing here is a very swinging route, which gets covered, but then you have these vertical routes working inside their man across the field, okay? Let's look here at this point of the snap, okay? Yes, Swift is kind of open in the flat. Quay Walker's recovering. Covered. But look, Alexander, who was playing over the top, right? And then you have one deep safety back here. And if you remember what the Browns used to do with Jabril Peppers, just send him 70 yards downfield. But Tom Kennedy's on this crosser underneath, and there's so much traffic that he has to work through. It's not even that much because of the spacing. They really kind of give him a lane. But, I mean, that's just a lot of separation on an early down for Kennedy. He's able to get the football and work for extra yards. So let's run this one back. Motions across. We know we got man coverage. We just get the top of the drop, find the man that gets lost in that sauce, and, that's easy pickings. Hey, we'll add another 15 on top of that. Thanks for hitting our man out of bounds because you were late to the game. Not the league's best corner giving up a first down reception in man coverage to Kennedy. So there's that. But actually, you know what? Let's go. Let's see. Boom, 27-30. That's our next play. I apologize again for the... It's like a fun sit down. It's like a fireside chat. It's like when your guy goes, here, come here. I got to show you something on YouTube. And he just gives you like 20 videos to watch. Don't spoil it, Finn. So, this is another play, and this is what I wanted to highlight. So, again, this is the Lions' first game without TJ Hawkinson this year. This is right after the Week 8 deadline trade to the Minnesota Vikings. Best of luck to TJ in his career, but he's no longer a Lion. Shane Zylstra and his brother activated that week for the first time. We've got James Mitchell here on the left side, the rookie from Virginia Tech, and then we've got Brock Wright. So this is something that, obviously, if you've watched any Lions football over the last couple weeks, it seems like Ben Johnson is a wizard, and he is. And a way that you do these things is, A, how successful that Jared Goff is at play action from under center, does a great job with his ball fakes, does a good job whenever it's time to sell the fake, not sell the fake. There's a lot of little things that, sometimes you don't want to sell the fake. Or, you don't want those linebackers up. An example of that would be like a tight end screen out of play action, right? If you run a tight end screen out of play action, you actually want to kind of make sure the linebackers know early that it's a play action pass, because then those guys bail deep. They'll go pass, and they'll run backwards, and that'll actually open up that tight end screen. So like in a tight end screen situation, your coaching point is actually you're supposed to kind of blow the fake. You kind of reveal that it's you do a bad fake. And on the other hand, you got a situation like this where you really want to sell the fake. That's the first part of it, right? So, I mean, this is simple stuff. First, you're going to motion across our man. What's the first thing? Boom. His guy jumps with him. So what does that tell us? It's man coverage. Now, we probably are expecting that out the gate. And you see here, Savage is pointing. He's saying, I got him. Brock, 89 here. I got him. So he's going to go grab him. All right, so we've got two guys in cover 0. Look at how many guys are coming to Jared here. So Savage communicates, but the safety doesn't seek. Why? Because he's too busy covering. He's too busy covering Brock. He's too busy adjusting to this very quick indecisive offense. Hey, we're motion across, run, run, run. He's pointing, saying, I got him. Take my man. His eyes are on Brock because there's a couple reasons. One, I need to see the ball fake. Two, how many times have we seen like tight end jet sweeps and things like that? So there's a miscommunication here between these two players. James Mitchell comes crashing on the crosser. That's going to bring Jairi. Quay's on the running back. And top of your screen is Shane Zylstra, activated for a game. Dude has like 5 touchdown passes. They're all for 1 yard. Wide open in the end zone. Just sneaks by, And that's, that's simple football. All it is the Packers came out and said, we're going to run mano-a-mano, our best against your best. And Ben Johnson said, okay, well, you're going to have to adjust very quickly on the fly, do a lot of those things. So how did the Packers adjust? Because if you're out here toasting a defense, doing a fantastic job at forcing bad, coverage mismatches and things like that, well, they switched the zone and they switched the combo coverages. They put the lines in situations where Jared needed to make reads a little bit later, or he was a little bit more unsure because, now with all these man coverages and things like that, we've got situations where the reads are very predetermined, or they're very easy to make, or you have like man on one side and zone beater on the other, and you just kind of make that read. So let's go to the first big mistake, and actually, if I'm not mistaken, this is the last interception that Jared has thrown all season. This was a pretty rough drive. I can't remember if this is early in the second half. Here's an example, actually, of that quick snap. Doesn't always work. You come out here to empty. Look, so we got Jamal Williams, bottom of the screen. It's just an example. Obviously, it doesn't work, but it's not meant to, these things don't work every time. But this is an example of what I showed you earlier. 2-9's a corner in this defense. So we know we're going to get zone. Looks like we're going to get cover 3. Cover 3, if you don't know, it's 3 guys cover deep. Normally your best rangy safety in the middle of the field, and then your 2 outside corners drop deep. Then you're going to have 4 underneath defenders. They do a good job at passing off these crossing, stopping routes. Jamal is not exactly the guy that we want to have running post down the field, and the pressure gets in early. Let's entertain it. I didn't have watching the O-line struggle. But here, you get to the line, you don't know exactly where the pressure's, if there's pressure going to come from. And you just get good penetration from the edge there. Looks like Taylor Decker struggled. Sorry, Taylor. Don't win every rep. Sean Gary gets good. Gets his hands around, and I wouldn't be surprised that's one of the most recent sacks Jared's taken, too. Jared's done a good job at staying clean. Okay, so where's the play that I'm talking about here? This is the one. Okay, I had a bad timestamp. So one of the big things that has worked well lately with the reintroduction of DJ Chark to this offense has been play action, passes over the middle and deep. But more so, it seems like once or twice a week or once or twice a half, there's just wide open Detroit Lions deep in the middle of the field from these play actions. And if you look really at this, we've kind of got everything we want in this play. Obviously, Jarrett, Amon-Ra is kind of, there's not a person, put a box. At the end of the day, if I told you this route was an interception, you'd be telling me that we need to draft CJ Stroud at 5 or whatever, which we still can, and we're not going to get into that debate. But the difference between Jared Goff and the Lions right now versus Jared Goff and the Lions right here, where they're 1-6 battling to try to save their season, is plays like this. Because schematically, we're doing a great job. You just run a post clear out with a dig underneath it, or a crosser underneath it, and your play action's going to suck up these linebackers. If you're a Pat McAfee fan, I'm not the biggest fan of the show, but another thing too, right, is communication here, because we're in zone now versus man, so it's just quick adjustments. Another thing too is look at this as Dan Skipper. So what are you looking for to accomplish in the play action? Well, obviously the first thing is getting these linebackers to step up, opening up these crossing, and seriously, out of the drop, this football needs to go right here immediately. If this ball just gets thrown immediately, And it looks like the routes so far going forward have been more hit in the middle of the field versus late in the numbers. Because if you're telling me Jared Goff's head snaps to Amon-Ra St. Brown right here, I mean, Amon-Ra sits here, and I mean, this is a 40-yard. I mean, there's just 20-yard pass, and who knows what he's getting after the catch, right? But how do they get the linebackers up? Well, it's that eligible man being an extra lineman, right? Number 70, if you're not the biggest Lions fan, is Dan Skipper. Our guy Dan Skipper, big inspirational guy. So he comes in motion, and having this I form, extra man, extra offensive lineman in motion with only 2 wide receivers. Not a single. I mean, outside of Brock Wright, who's in fullback here, or H-back, or whatever you want to call it, there's not even a tight end on the line of scrimmage. This is a 5-man line of scrimmage with this eligible offensive lineman. Everything in this thing screams, hey, we're going to have to deal with we're going to have to deal with the run here. So play action fake is perfect. I just need this ball thrown right here to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Well, what ends up happening? Well, first off, eyes are on the deep post by Jared, and we'll see that in the other one. Another thing, too, is he's checking down to the running back. Throw the football here. Jared just is a little indecisive, just a little bit antsy, because honestly, you should go touchdown to check down, right? And he kind of does. He goes post and he sees he doesn't have it, but really, this is where it's wide open. Then he comes back to it. At this point, Jair Alexander, I apologize if I get your name wrong, brother. He makes a great drop off of his man and jumps this route for a pick. So we'll just watch the next play in that kind of angle, but really that's that. There's not a whole lot to break down. It's just that switch to zone is now forcing Jared out of play action to not have quite as obvious, wide open things. They're making their adjustments, play action, throw it right there, brother. And he throws a little bit late and low, and Alexander's going to get a big play there. So just 4 more plays here. Again, I want to keep these kind of short. Obviously, in the future we can go longer, but I'm not exactly. I don't even know how much of these things I'm allowed to actually show like this. I don't even know if I'm allowed to show like this. I don't know. We've got an example. I put this as another play versus zone, but let's go ahead and look through the pre-snap read. Again, not everything I'm remembering. So again, what is this motion set to determine? Well, we've got 1 high and we've got off. We don't have man coverage. So we're going to motion off. We're going to run that swinging out, right? Normally with Amon-Ra, he gets vertical and then cuts out. Looks like with Khalif. And in this specific scheme, it's kind of getting vertical here. This one actually does a good job of getting covered. And that's what I wanted to highlight here. It's just the differences between these kind of plays when they run zone versus when they run man. So let's just look at it one more time. And you'll see it's just the passing off. Just watch the linebackers, how they're communicating in zone, stepping up, watching Jared Goff's eyes. When they're forcing us to make reads in zone, they're doing a lot better job at stopping it versus man coverage. And that's what I want to see what they do. And then, what kind of pressure they generate. Another thing, too, is this game is in Ford Field, right? Weather conditions are good. The crowd is in favor of the Lions. It's not like a situation where we're going to be playing in the cold at night in hostile territory. We're going to have to deal with not being able to hear on key downs and not being able to communicate. We're going to have to deal, Frank Ragnow said that he had a major injury that was really aggravated by the cold against the Panthers. Is that going to be a problem? So let's go forward here to 44. I got a timestamp of another quick motion play. With a big run. Is this the... Let's see. Quick snap. So we're on the football. They've just broken huddle. We've got Savages communicating. Everybody's getting set and communicating, and we just get to the line and snap the football. You rely on this major push that this powerful offensive line can do when they're healthy, and a big run by Jamal. Again, another thing, too, is in hostile territory, knowing that you're not going to be able to communicate a whole bunch. It looks like we might even... Are they missing a player? They're screaming. 2-9 is screaming at the sideline. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Is it somebody needs to get off the field? What do we have here? Who's 2-9 screaming at? Or is he just saying get out there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now they've got 11. All right, well, they're just communicating. Get out there. And as a result, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players, 6, just way off the line of scrimmage. You get this major push. The Lions are real disciplined and they're blocked. There you go. All right, where's 44-54? I think this is another play where we talk about the man coverage. That's what my note here says. Okay, yep. All right, so another thing that they did to combat it is instead of running just blanket man coverage, right? You do the old Revis Island. We get Alexander Island here. And this is something that I want to see if they try it again, because the difference between this team and the Lions now is, one, the tight end group is way more confident, right? This is the first major game where we've asked Brock and Mitchell and Zylstra to take true rotational tight end one snaps. Tom Kennedy, top of the screen there, has not been on the field at all. So in the last couple of weeks, with between Reynolds and Raymond and Chark and Amon-Ra and J-Mo now getting 18 snaps in the Bears game, this is not something that Jairi can do against every corner on this roster. Well, he might, it's Jairi Alexander. But for example, if we're getting press coverage against Jameson Williams, that means St. Brown is not being guarded and manned by Jairi. Or if he goes to guard Jairi, what I'm saying? We just have a lot deadlier weapons, taller DJ Chark. So in this rep, what we have is we've got a play here where we've got man coverage top of the screen. Everybody else is in zone. This is another, we motion down with him sliding up back and sliding over. This is a good indication that, we're in zone. I'm a big fan of this play. The tight end's going to release here and run a quick little spot route. Goal here is to kind of force one of these linebackers to step up. And then you have these two crossers, one a little bit shallower, one like a little bit deeper, more of a post. It's like a dig post, a spot, dig, and a post. And really, Jared has his pick of who he wants to throw to. No surprise that he goes after St. Brown. And Raymond even kind of becomes the lead blocker. Kind of missed the safety, but let's watch it at full speed. Motion down, spot route sucks up. I want to watch his eyes here. All right, I'm not exactly expecting a Matt Stafford no look pass here, but Jared's ability to really look down Shane Zylstra on this route. Eyes are over here. And he's just reading behind him. I mean, look at that lane. That's easy money right there. Good throw by Jared while he's getting hit. Puts it right on the numbers. Protects him. Big fan of that. So, are the Packers going to run a lot of man? Are the Packers going to run a lot of zone? If they like to run man and we get them running zone, how does Ben attack that this time going forward? And that's something that we've got to figure out. And then the last thing I wanted to show is one more quick snap play. Let's see here. Yep. This is the last touchdown to Mitchell. And the final. So quick snapping, again, has been a theme that we've seen. Breaking the huddle extremely quickly. Again, it's a pharma tempo. It's not like no huddle. All right, so we get to see directly. One of the things I want to note here, again, when we're talking about who we want to ID and who we want to attack and how to cause confusion for guys like this rookie linebacker, this young two third-tier safety and Savage, right? So we're going to break huddle immediately, right? And we're in empty. We're sprinting, okay? So what's our personnel? We've got 2 wide receivers on the right, 2 tight ends on the left in this bunch with DeAndre Swift, our outside wide receiver. So, and we're snapping. Boom. We get down and we are snapping. So we've got a flat and a spot. And normally with the flat spot, you normally end up getting a corner out of this, but that's not the work. Swift comes under. And this is where the miscommunication actually lies. He's actually watching Jared's eyes. He releases. And that's going to give us Mitchell wide open. I'm not exactly sure why this route ends up working. I mean, it's like a return route by Swift, almost like a spot and in. Quick flat by Brock to clear somebody out. And then, again, there's so many routes in this offense. I mean, again, you kind of think you'd want to go corner here and maybe work to a spot, maybe a cross or over. Top of the screen, we get 2 spot routes out type deal. But, I mean, how this play is asking, like, how you're asking James Mitchell, a rookie tight end, out of this to release outside of this linebacker. Maybe releasing outside makes him think, okay, he's gone and away. I don't need to get depth. He steps up on Swift. But, like, look at Jared. Jared is, like, this is great anticipation in the fucking red zone on the goal line. Let's watch this from another angle. Just let's see Jared's eyes. What kind of manipulation we're getting. But this quick snap, Jared's right, works left, and then just kind of follows him. I mean, call it busted coverage, but how do you get this open of a route? How do you engineer your 3rd string and your 4th string tight end being so open in the red zone is beyond me. And that's something we've seen a lot. Quick snaps is a way to do that. There's all these alignments. It's like, oh shit, okay, there's 2 tight ends over here. I'm in man, or no, I'm in zone. So even attacking zone, while we struggled with that in kind of between the 20s, it looks like in the red zone, we've got ways to attack these different coverages. So I'm very excited because you look at the Panthers game and the things that should have changed. We had a 7-7 game with the ball in the red zone. We fumbled. That kind of a 14-7 drive could have been what resulted. Instead, chaos ensues. And we weren't stopping the run anytime soon anyways, but chaos ensues there. You look at that Jets game where we kind of got saved by the Raymond punt return because we weren't able to convert on 4th down in the red zone. Even in this game, I think we started off early and didn't get a touchdown on the opening drive, but we get a turnover in the red zone. Ben Johnson's done a really good job at kind of forcing this turnover. So I kind of rambled a bit. This is like a 40-minute episode. I want to apologize for that. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. I will try to do things to kind of get some drawing arrows on the screen. I have a way of used to doing that, but this was very much last second on this. I wanted to kind of watch, again, the Packers and how they play going forward versus, how they played their most recent games. But that's just simply something that I felt like would take a lot of time because, that's watching like game to game and their first 15, how they script and like what kind of defenses they're. I didn't want to do all that. I wanted to look at how we attacked them last time, how we beat them. Okay, because I remember back when I did an article, Marvin Jones, we attacked them. They ran a lot of too high cover 2. This is not the same team. I got on one hand how many times they were too high against us, and that's because now we have a running game that's feared. So they know that that extra man in the box is very important to them. Whereas in the past, when I was doing breakdowns and we were in Amir Abdullah, Theo Riddick rushing game, they weren't too scared. They can drop that extra safety back, have more help over the top and in the middle of the field. So very interested. I'm very excited for the game. But these are my key points. I'm seeing how much quick snapping do we do? How much pre-snap motion do we do to force these guys to talk? How much do we mix it up? How well we run the football? And how do we implement the different receivers? This was a game that I think was really held back because we were starting guys like Tom Kennedy and Khalif Raymond. I felt like this game, it showed a lot about what's good with our offense when it's running it at all cylinders. We were 100% down a cylinder or 2 in this game, and we were able to pull out a win. So I'm really excited to see what we can do going forward. Kind of full strength, extremely healthy offense going into this game. Really excited. So let's do it, man. Go Lions. Drop your comments in. If you want more of this, give me a holler. I appreciate any and all feedback. You can catch me. I don't know if I'm going to upload this to my YouTube or streamable. So if you're on YouTube and you're watching this, would love for you to follow. I stream MLB The Show on Twitch. So if you're a baseball fan, twitch.tv/FrontmanFin. Don't really do too much Madden content. Not really my thing anymore, even though I really obviously love football. But I will happily do some Lions-related content if that's something y'all want to watch. Maybe we'll do like a Lions rebuild or something like that. So anyways, much love to you all. Peace.